Morning. Today we'll be talking about strengthening our mental health systems in 2023 because a lot of his staffs have gone through so much in the past few years. Good morning, Dr. Maymunah. It's a pleasure to have you, and it's a pleasure to have Dr. Malik here with us today. Thank you for coming on the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, 2023 is here, but what the world has been through, and particularly what our society has been through. First, we went through COVID, we went through the lockdown, we went through the recession. We started coming out of it, another COVID hits, another recession came through. Then we have now gone through, with the past year, one of the most devastating devaluations of the currency, which has plunged us further into recession. There's a huge crisis in the system. Our young people are leaving. People are feeling desperate. Some people are having difficulty feeding. People who you would not have expected to have these issues are going through so much. So we land now in 2023, and we are met with the people with very low morale. We have people with, desperate situations, and I tell you, a lot of people, even people who you would not expect. I was talking to a lady who, by all means and purposes, you would call successful, and yet the mood is low. She was talking about giving up on things that she was, had been doing before, and you would have thought, why would you do that? You look at it, if anybody, you look as if everything is going for you. Not to talk about people who are having such desperate situations. So what can we do? Because we know that seasons come and seasons go, but how do we overcome this? What can we do? How can we strengthen ourselves? Is there anything that you can offer to the people who are listening? Dr. Abdulmalik, would you like to start?
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Pamela. Now, the first thing I would like to say is that it's important for us to maybe explain the basics, right? Because most people say mental health, but I'm not sure most of the time that when we are saying mental health, we're actually talking about the same thing, you see? And before we talk about mental health, let's remember also that the WHO, the World Health Organization, defines health as physical, mental, and social well-being. So 3 components to health. And so that's like a stool with 3 legs. Each leg is critical. If one leg is bad, the chair or stool is going to fall down. So mental health is an important component of health. Then let's talk about mental health specifically. Again, it's the ability to do 4 things successfully. The first one is to fulfill your unique potentials. There are billions of people, 200 million Nigerians, all of us. What Dr. Pamela's strengths are, it's different from my strengths, different from Dr. Maymunah's. We are all different and uniquely. So how do you fulfill your unique potentials? You have to enjoy good mental health to be able to do so. The second attribute of good mental health is the ability to cope with the normal stress of everyday life. Please underline normal stress. So as Nigerians, we all complain, oh, things are tough, things are difficult, and so on. But everybody is going through, is in the same milieu. We are all in the same Nigeria, right? Some people are still thriving, despite the fact that challenges are there. So how do you cope with your unique challenges at work, with your family situation, with the economy of Nigeria, the devaluation you rightly mentioned, and the pressures? How do you cope? If you are enjoying good mental health, you will cope better. If you are struggling with your mental health, you will be overwhelmed very easily and you will break down. So that's the second attribute of good mental health. The first one is that you fulfill your own potentials. The second is that you are able to cope with the normal stress of day-to-day life. The third one is the ability to work productively. Whatever you are doing, are you productive with it? If you are a student, are you able to concentrate in class? Are you able to study effectively? Are you able to do well with your exams? If you are a security man, are you able to do well? If you are the CEO of a company, if you, whatever your role, are you productive in your role? That's the third one. And the last one is your interpersonal relationships, your ability to relate as a member of the community with your neighbors, with colleagues at work, in your place of worship, and so on and so forth. So if you look at it from this perspective, you will see that these are everyday situations that determine whether we are enjoying good mental health or not. Not so, because some people, once they hear meh, before you even say tal, once they hear meh, they say, you know, the person has gone gaga. He has gone, you know, he's run mad. But that is very different from what mental health is a spectrum, just like physical health. You can aim to improve your mental health by coping well, working productively, fulfilling your potentials, relating well with people. That will imply that you're enjoying good mental health. So it's not just because the reason I'm giving this clarifications is that most people think that when you say mental, you mean people roaming the streets naked, you know, and but that's just psychotic illness, which is just one type of mental health challenges that people may have. So I think these clarifications, these concepts is what I would like to contribute as we start this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah,
No.
and Dr. Pamela, just to quickly add to that is the fact that, you know, we are talking about strengthening our mental health in 2023. I want to also let people know that January 2023 is Gregorian calendar. Ethiopian, they're in a different calendar. Islamic calendar is also different. This is just a Gregorian calendar that we are following. It doesn't mean that, you know, things are going to change drastically. So when we see people say, new year, new me, no. New year, old you, don't fix what is not broken. Don't fix it. If you're not broke, what are you fixing? Say new year, new day, new minute, new hour, new whatever. So don't fix what is not broken. And for us to work on strengthening our mental health, we also have to understand that our subconscious play a very significant role in whatever action we want to do. It's so powerful, over 30,000 more powerful than our conscious mind that all of us are in currently. And a great part of what we think is wired in our mind and is based on our experiences in our early age. So we will have a goal. I want to strengthen my mental health in 2023. But the truth is that if you have a goal, your subconscious can make you not to achieve it due to limiting beliefs that are holding you down. So you must be very clear about that goal. And of course, make sure you have a clear plan. You can't jump and say, I want to strengthen my mental health. So that's why people talk about smart. People now even talk about smarting. So how smart is that your goal in strengthening your mental health? What do you want to really do? How specific is it? How measurable is it? How achievable? How realistic? How time, but you can't just jump into, I just want to do. So the first rule before we continue is that you must decluster to make sure that your subconscious mind is in the right place. You must have a clear goal, a clear plan, and you must be consistent in what you want to achieve in strengthening your mental health.
So then can I just ask, what can be achieved? Because we as I said, and Dr. Abdulmalik also said, we're all different. We're all starting at different points.
Right.
But what we do know is that a lot of us are starting from a low point, and we don't want to go any further down. We want to build our way up. So what can we do? How can we begin to look at our mental health? We have to do an assessment and then take it forward. How do we do that as individuals? What are the kinds of things we can start building on? How do we create these SMART goals for ourselves and start working on them one at a time?
Do you want me to continue?
Yes.
Dr. Malik? Okay. So the first thing in that is that we also, like when you made mention earlier on the 10 things, I just remember exactly what that thing was like. literally before, say you want to do your SMART goals, you want to strengthen your mental health, you want to do anything, even your business, you want to do a business strategy. Everybody is doing retreat now. Everywhere you turn to is vision board, goal setting. In fact, just having it in your mind, you are not even telling anybody. Artificial intelligence will carry it, and everywhere you see, all the advertisement we following. But it's very important that we drop certain things behind. Before you move on, there are certain things you must drop. Making yourself small is one thing we have to drop. Because truly, if you want to say you want to strengthen something, you want to do something for yourself, if you keep telling yourself certain things, it's not going to work. So making yourself small, let's drop it behind in 2022. Like you said, if you are following the Gregorian calendar, let's drop that in 2022. Let us not be too proud to ask for help. A lot of us know what to do, how to do it. You know somebody that can help you. I want to do something in research now. I know Dr. Malik is in UCH, he's a professor. I can easily reach out to him and do it. And I'm like, no, I'm feeling too proud. Please, let's drop that. Being too proud to ask for help cannot help you to strengthen your mental health. Another thing is sabotaging your own happiness. Some of us, even if we're happy, we are telling ourselves, I don't think I'm happy. I don't think nothing is working. Oh, if I go out now, traffic will hold me down. You've not even gone out. You've not even checked your Google map to even see how you are moving from point A to. So you just deliberately sabotage your happiness. And like I said earlier on, our subconscious mind, which is 95% of our success and is 30,000 more powerful than our conscious mind, you are feeding your brain and you get the feedback. So stop sabotaging your own happiness. And of course, needed to be liked by everyone. You are not chocolate. Neither are you Niger jollof rice. You can't be liked by everyone. You don't even like everyone. In fact, one of the components Dr. Malik talked about is that, knowing your full potentials. How many of us even know our full potentials? Do you even know who you are? If I ask that question, who are you? Do you know who you are? So needing to be liked by everyone is something that we need to drop behind. And of course, blaming others for your mistake. It's emotional dumping if you keep blaming others for your mistake. You can't be blaming. Take responsibility. It's very important for you to take responsibility. And compromising on your boundaries is one thing. Ability to strengthen your mental health. Please let us make sure that we build our boundaries. Boundaries are very important. Physical boundary, family boundary, emotional boundary, build it. And please don't compromise on it. Be unapologetic about it. Don't compromise on your boundaries. And holding on to problems you cannot control. Not everything is within our control. Why are you holding on to things that you cannot control? Don't hold on to things you cannot control. Then choosing people who are not choosing you. Pour into cups that pour back into yours. Don't choose people that are not choosing you. We are not saying cut off people, avoid people, but choose people that choose you. It makes it easier for you. Then the ninth thing is holding on to thoughts that keep you stuck. And the last but not the least, among the 10 things we should drop in 2022 for us to strengthen our mental health in 2023 is letting your insecurities dictate your decision.
Thank you very much. That's very powerful. And I think we need to reflect on some of those points that you've talked about. Dr. Abdulmalik, Dr. Maymunah shared a lot of tips and things that we should be thinking about in, leaving behind some of those negative attitudes in 2022. And how then do you propose we can take all of that and build on it and move positively into 2023 to achieve the more holistic, healthier self that you were referring to earlier?
Right. Thank you very much. And Dr. Maymunah has done an excellent job. And I'm just going to take off from there. The first is that, just to underline and emphasize some of the points she has made, that we need to let go of past grudges and hurts. You can't be running a race and you are looking back to see who is behind you. You can't be effective. Let's say you're running a 100 meters sprint and you are running and then you are trying to look sideways and backwards to see who is behind you, who is catching up with you. You will lose concentration. So if you are running the race of life, you need to let go of past hurt. I'm not saying delete them from your memory. By all means, learn from them, right? But let them go and move forward so that you are free. Again, don't live a life that is clouded by anger. Someone once described, I mean, anger is an emotion. We all have emotions. We all have anger. We all experience it, right? But there are what we call positive emotions and negative emotions. And negative emotions have a purpose, but we shouldn't let them becloud our judgment, our day-to-day life. So if you are angry, someone once described uncontrolled anger as punishment that you inflict on yourself for another person's mistakes. So because you are the one that is upset, maybe you are driving on the road and someone just crossed you in a very bad manner, and you had to slam your brakes down, and the person had gone. You then continue, you are driving to work, you are still busy hissing and insulting, and you get to the office, you are still in a foul mood. For the next 2 hours, you are not able to calm down. The person has gone, oblivious of the fact that you are still boiling in anger. So these are things that we need to let go. Now, the positive things we need to be mentally healthy and to strengthen our emotional well-being in 2023. One of them is emotional intelligence. I know it's an overflogged term that everybody uses, but it's really critical to good mental well-being. And what does it really mean? It simply means you understand yourself. So self-awareness, and then you move beyond self-awareness to self-regulation, being able to regulate and manage your own emotions. Charity must always begin at home. Before you change the world, you must start with learning to understand your own self and managing your own emotions, because sometimes we all overreact sometimes. So you need to know what are your pressure buttons, what are your triggers, what are the things that set you off, how do you manage better when provoked in those kind of instances. Then the second component of emotional intelligence is understanding the emotions of other people around you. So you are in a relationship, you are married, you have colleagues at work. If you do not understand other people's point of view, other people's emotions, if you are not sensitive to them, you will not be able to treat them well. So being aware of other people's emotions and being sensitive to them helps you develop empathy, and that helps you improve your social relationship skills. So when you understand other people and you deploy that understanding, not with a Machiavellian mindset of manipulation, let me take advantage of knowing other people's weaknesses, the fact that they are vulnerable to this, let me use it to manipulate them. That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about understanding other people so you use it in a constructive manner to improve and promote better relationships. So emotional intelligence is number one. The second thing is building our resilience. All of us are Nigerians. We all say, the economy is bad, things are, but we know there's insecurity, there is this and that. But in therapy, and my colleague, Dr. Maymunah, also will know this, that in therapy, what we say is that you can't control all the external factors. COVID happened to the whole world. We were all helpless, like pawns on a chessboard. We couldn't do anything about it. What is important in therapy, what we emphasize for better emotional well-being, is that the factors that are outside your control, acknowledge and recognize them, but focus on your things that are within your control, which is, for instance, you are married, you've been married for 10 years, you and your wife or whoever, whatever gender you are, the couple have been struggling to achieve conception for 10 years without success. You've done all the tests, nothing is wrong with either the man or the woman. You've tried assisted fertility, it hasn't worked. What do? Do you cry into your pillow every day, be miserable, be frustrated, and take out your frustration on everybody that comes within your ambit at work and the family and all of that? Or do you become pragmatic, which is what Dr. Maymunah also mentioned, that set realistic goals? So you're in this situation, you've done all the tests, you've tried assisted fertility, it hasn't worked. Why don't you look at adoption? Why don't you make your peace? I mean, you don't necessarily, I mean, you may want to have your own biological child, but you've tried everything feasible and it hasn't worked. So what is the next pragmatic thing to do? You need to then look at what is possible. Should I go for adoption? There are many children out there abandoned in orphanages and so on, crying for a home. right? Why don't you adopt? If you don't even want to bring them into your home, you can sponsor them and they know that you are their benefactor and they'll be forever grateful to you. So resilience is not the fact that life does not have challenges, but how do you bounce back in the face of those challenges and make progress? Most importantly, how do you maintain emotional peace of mind so that you are not too destabilized by factors outside your control? That is resilience. So, and resilience, nobody is born very resilient. All of us, we build our resilience. It's like emotional muscles. So if you go to the gym, your stamina the first day at the gym will not be your stamina if you are going to the gym consistently for 6 months. In 6 months' time, your stamina will have improved. So it's the same thing with emotional resilience, that you learn and practice gradually, and then you get better over time to cope well with adversity, with challenges, because in reality, 2023 is a new year. We don't know what curveballs will come our way as individuals, as a nation, and so on. We simply don't know. So the best bet is to be prepared to deal with how do you cope with adversity. You need to learn to cope with healthy coping strategies, invest in human relationships. Dr. Maymunah mentioned it. Sorry, I'm just piggybacking on some of the things you have said earlier, but just to emphasize them. So we need to invest in human relationships. No man or woman is an island. We all need to lean on someone from time to time during our low moments. So be intentional about cultivating and nurturing relationships, because we all need it from time to time. And that's what Dr. Maymunah was saying also, that pour into cups of people who also pour into yours. And that way you have a support network that will be there for you. So if you invest in human relationships, you will have that pool of support network for when you have low moments. Let me stop here. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I think what the two of you have said, and I love the way you've illustrated it. So what she has said has been broken down as well for people to understand that there's a lot that we can do ourselves to help ourselves. I think that's the bottom line, is that yes, we are in a dire situation, but there are still steps that we can take. And it's time now, at this beginning of the year, not to give up, not to despair, not to stop whatever you're doing, but to sit down and say, what can I do better? How can I improve it? Even if it's by a little step here, a little step there, what can be done to raise, whatever it is that we're doing, and know that we have it within ourselves to give us that push. Now, Dr. Abdulmalik, I know you have a foundation. I don't know if you want to tell us quickly about that foundation and why you set it up.
Right. Thank you very much. So the foundation is called Asido Foundation. Asido is an Ibira word from Kogi State, which means resilience. Funny that I was just talking about resilience now. It means resilience, overcoming adversity, and breaking forth despite obstacles in the way. So, and we deliberately chose that word because we want to emphasize the can-do spirit that all Nigerians are known for everywhere. That it is when people have mental health challenges in our country, we know that some of the biggest barriers are shame, stigma, ignorance, discrimination. And so these become significant obstacles against their succeeding in life. So you say, if they are smiling today, the way they are smiling, watch out too. If they are not smiling, this one that they are not smiling today, maybe there is a problem. So there's a lot of, when people say, oh, don't marry into that family, or somebody there has a mental health illness. Even things like epilepsy are discriminated against like that. So the Asido Foundation aims to promote better awareness and understanding around mental health issues, to combat the shame and stigma associated with it, and to try and promote empathy and support, not just for affected persons, but also their families, their caregivers, and so on. So this is essentially what we try to do. And how did it start? I write a weekly column for the Nigerian Tribune every Thursday called Your Mental Health and You. And this column has been running since 2016. And so when we started sharing the column on social media, we got a deluge of messages. Oh, my sister has this, what should we do? Oh, my son is not yet talking at 5, what should we do? And it became clear that there was so much misinformation out there, so much ignorant. People don't know where to go to for help and for treatment. And it was beyond what an individual can do. So we then came about the idea of having a platform where people can volunteer. You don't have to be a psychiatrist.
Yes, can you, unfortunately, we don't have much time, but can you share with us how to get onto that platform?
Right. So our website is www.Asido Foundation, Asido spelled ASIDO foundation.com. So visit the website, you'll see join us and what the activities we do, essentially around awareness creation, combating shame and stigma of mental health, and promoting support for affected persons and their families. Thank you.
Fantastic. So Dr. Maymunah, do you have any last words for our listeners?
Yeah, for everyone out there listening, I said at the beginning of this program, it's a new Gregorian law calendar, it's a new year, may not necessarily be a new you. Don't fix what is not broken. But most importantly, to strengthen your mental health for 2023, which is going to be a game changer for we Nigerians because it's an election year. First, if you are 18 years and above, make sure you get your PVC and go and vote so that you won't say somebody took your mandate. Go vote if you are 18 years and above. But to strengthen your mental health, please follow the 4 C's. 4 C's meaning first is control. Work only what is within your control. Is anything that's not within your control is going to add additional stress to your mental health. The second part is commitment. Commit to your goal. Have a plan, make sure it is smart, and execute it. If you need help, reach out, ask for help. Sorosoke is a Nigerian word that we all have to deploy, whether you're Yoruba or not. Ask for help when and if you need it. The third aspect is challenge. You are going to make challenges now. You're going to make challenges, but how you deal with those challenges can either make or mar you. And the last of the 4 is be confident that this is your plan. You will execute it and be committed, be consistent, because consistency is a cheat code. All the very best in 2023.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for new video updates.